What up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're going to be going over some baits and rod and reel selection. If you're specifically going to be on the river or in some of the creeks. Also, some rigs that I like to use now that we're in spring. So, I am going to start off with some of these, we like to call them A-rigs. I want to say Hammerhead makes these. They're really stout jigs that I like to use. Mostly like when the current's like rolling and it's a little rough out there, I like to get it down faster. Or also a 1/4 ounce big hammer. And then when the water's really clear, I'll throw a couple underspins. I know Berkley makes these. This is a 1/2 ounce with a little blade on there. Also, you guys see me catch them on spinner baits too. And as well, I'll go throw from 1/4 to 3/4 ounce to 1/2 ounce to even a 1/8 when the water's really low. Laser Eye makes these. I like these because they don't bend as much. Especially when the water is really clear up in the creeks. I'll throw like a Monkey Milk, Slaplicious. I like to throw Monkey Milk and Chartreuse. Depending on water clarity, I mean all kinds of different colors. If they're short striking it or they're not really feeding like normal, I'll even go up to a bigger slider. That's a Charlie Brewer paddle tail there, or walleye sliders like I like to call them. Also Berkley makes these in power bait. These like minnow flukes. I like throwing those. And then for those big hammers, I'll put on a Storm, those Largo shads. Something really big. I mean, even up to like 6 inch and 4 inch on some of those bigger jigs. I like to throw those Guggen Saucy Swimmers as well on some of those jigs. Specifically, you know, if you're hybrid fishing, white bass fishing, sauger fishing, your Cabela's, Hoochie Cooch, your lime green, pink. I've caught them on all these this year. And then when I downsize, I like this pink and chartreuse. Strike King makes these in orange and chartreuse. And then you got your bigger paddle tails, or just a tad bit bigger. Cabela makes these as well. I forget what these are called, but they make them in pink, pretty much about any color. Bubblegum and chartreuse. I do like these zooms for when the water's really clear. Kind of mimic the minnows and shads, what's in the creek and the river. Let's see here. Oh, and your Zoom Pearl Ices. Can't go wrong with these. This is like my go-to. And of course, your grub tails. Can't forget about the grub tails. And when the water's not so dirty or even stained, I'll throw a big fluke sometimes. Your zooms. This one's your baby shad color. That's your white and chartreuse. So we're gonna look at a few rod and reel setups that I use for the river and the creek. No matter where you're at, especially if you got a lot of current or you're near a dam or a spillway, I like to use anywhere from 7 foot all the way up to 12 foot surf rods if you need to get it way out there. But I use what you see me using most of my videos is a 7 foot Abu Garcia is a Vendetta, and I stick in between mostly 2500 series to 3000 series reels down in the creeks and the river. This one specifically is a 7.4. It's a medium fast action. This is pretty much what I use for my sauger, white bass, hybrid. You can see me throw them a lot. And then if I'm fishing for striper or big hybrid, we'll use anywhere from 200 series to 500 series bait casters. If we're throwing big baits on a medium heavy rod, that's a Daiwa Tatula. It's one of my favorites. And that's if I'm throwing, big baits, swim baits, chatter baits, heavy spinner baits. You need something that's gonna not only give you that backbone when you get into the fish, but a reel that's gonna be able to handle that current and the fish pulling without spooling out all over your line. I use anywhere from 17 to 20 pound test on my bait casters. And then if I'm fishing light, I'll go down to my 2500 series to 1000 series reels. That's a Shimano Sedona right there on a 7 foot. It's medium fast action rod. You could pretty much use this for everything. When I'm running 8 and 6 pound test on some of my spinning rods, that's mostly what I use for my white bass, hybrid, sauger, things like that. And if you're pan fishing, I like to use a 9 foot or 7 foot rod. On a little 1000 series or 500 series reel. This is my it was a Crappie Max. Real light, especially if you're vertical jigging, very sensitive. And I use 9 foot as well when I'm crappie fishing. Like those Bobby Garlands you've seen. I'll even throw these on a underspin most of the time, no matter where I'm at. But as far as reel choice, rod choice, if you can afford it, get something that's gonna be great quality, a little bit more durable, as I've noticed from cheap reels to really expensive reels, how much of a difference it makes in performance, line capacity, down to your rods, your sensitivity. I've even broken reels and several rods on the river in my couple years that I've been fishing. But yeah, it's definitely a lot, I know, that I've discussed here, but you know, it's just part of the game. Oh, and one more thing. You grab, let's grab over here. Get you a rod bag. You can get these off of Amazon. I mean, it holds up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rods, whether you're in and out of the boat or on the bank. I love this thing. I take it just about anywhere with me. It's got some storage here. You can probably put some Plano boxes, you know, sweater, you know, things like that. And I want to say with all my rods, it's probably only about like 5, maybe. No, I want to say 5, probably like 10 pounds. I mean, it's pretty light. And when I'm on really long journeys and I'm doing a lot of walking, per se, I do like this Cascade backpack because not only it's got lots and lots of storage compartment. I carry all my camera gear in this, plus all my fishing gear. I fit about 5 Plano boxes in there, plus all my stuff on top. It's got these other 2 compartments here. So just if you do a lot of bank fishing or you're wading. And what I like mostly about this, the back support on this thing is great. And then it has these pockets with padding on the side that wrap to your waist. And you can put your soft plastics in here. And pretty much go just about anywhere. I carry this with me in the boat sometimes. But that's just me. I like staying organized and having everything that I use on the boat in my backpack and take it wherever. But yeah, like I said, I carry about 5 Plano boxes in there, all my camera gear. You even got room for your food, your drink, whatever. But if you guys got any questions as far as rod, reel wise, especially watercolor, your hydrographs, and checking the weather, I can't stress it enough, is so important. Whether you're fishing the creek or you're on the river, it's something that's I've learned personally to not waste my time just going somewhere and not properly doing the research on how the water's flowing, if it's dropping, if it's rising. I can't stress it enough, and I've had days where I've done that and I've learned from it. And the more you study your hydrographs, no matter where you're at, any spillway, river, major lakes, always look at the CFS, the discharge that's coming out of there, when it's going to drop, when it's going to rise, and get somewhere in between the middle of the rise or right before it falls that I've found it being the best in my experience. Not only from the boat, but from the bank as well. So, yeah. If you guys like today's video, hit that like, share, subscribe button. We got a couple big things coming to the channel. I'm actually converting this into my podcast studio, so I'm pretty excited about that, and I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm hoping to have it done here within the next month, and have some people in and kind of discuss fishing, creeks, river systems, and things like that. Let's see here. And then every now and then, if I'm in the creek and I decide I want to panfish, they even make those Charlie Brewers and these crappie sliders and really small paddle tails. I use these for my crappies, and I'll put them on underspin, 1/32 all the way down to a 1/16, with a little blade on it like that. And if I'm vertical jigging for crappie, I'll go down to a 1/32 jig, or even a 1/16. Again, those are those laser eye jigs. And I'll put a Bobby Garland on there. If you're fishing for crappies in the lakes, rivers, creeks, and then I'll throw just a little crappie nugget on there. It don't matter what color you got. As well, I tie my own flies and my own bucktails. When the weather's right and the water's right and the color's right, you can throw your bucktails out there and your streamers and catch just about anything. And then in some of my videos, you guys seen me catch some spotted bass on. I like throwing a little 1/8 to a 1/4 ounce bitsy jig, like a pumpkin and watermelon, on a orange and red crawfish, or even just orange and pumpkin, as well as Ned rigs up in the creeks, old pumpkin. And every now and then I'll go wacky and throw a Cinco if I'm in the creek. But yeah, that's I go in between a 1/8 if I'm up in the creeks. The tailwater's just off the river, and I'll throw jigs, bitsy jigs, if I'm way up in shallow water up in the creek. Let me see, I got these orange ones out. Oh, here we are. Here's the ones I was looking for. This is what I caught all my spotted bass on. Just that's a homemade skirt I made on a net bait. Yeah, net bait crawfish. Oh, we'll throw those. And then you got your Z-Mans. Your Z-Man craws on a Ned. Those are the truth right there. That and the pumpkins. Green pumpkin I like throwing. And then, yeah, that's specifically for spotted bass, because we do get spotted bass up in the creeks and smallmouth. And then, let's see here. Can't go wrong with the whopper plopper on the water still, up in the creek. I have thrown it up in Silver Creek quite a bit. Not too often. And as far as like, if you guys are looking for stuff to suspend in the current, if you're out there on the river, can't go wrong with the jerkbait. And I mean the big jerkbaits. And then if you even want to downsize, if they're hitting bait fish that are smaller than that, I mean, you can downsize a little bit to something, a little bit smaller like that. And then I like these KVD square bills. striking if I'm fishing in current, as well as your red eye shads. And that's if you're going to be in mostly clear water and the water's pushing. And that's your Guggen, your Recon. Big wide square bill, fat body. And I'll just leave it, I'll throw it out there, I'll let it sit and feel it vibrating in the water when that current's pushing just a little bit, not too crazy. And then something will come up and grab it. Most of the time. Until then, keep fishing, tight lines, and I'll see you on the water.